Thank you for having me, everybody. So my name is Cherry Ainsworth. I am Head of Talent Acquisition at the Economist Group. I'm fairly new in this role. I've been with the business 2.5 months and have come in to head up recruitment globally for the Economist Group. So um, you may or may not have heard of The Economist. So we are a media and publishing organization. So founded in 1843, so we're over 180 years old, as a weekly newspaper to further the cause of free trade. And over the last 180 years, we've evolved into a independent global media and information services company. So we provide analysis, we provide insight, we provide news and opinion on global events, politics, and all things business related for an international audience. So we deliver that in many different ways. As I said, we started off as a newspaper, but we have evolved sort of heavily over the last 180 years. And the business is made up of four distinct units. And so then we hire across all of those different units as well. So we have the Economist, which is, if you visit theeconomist.com or you pick up a copy of the newspaper every week, it is a news site, and it's delivered in an app and a website, and it's essentially journalism and reporting and analysis from around the world. So it's bolstered by fact checking, it's highly independent, it's transparent, and it's, I guess, what we do is really provide insight and intel to people so that they can make really good and informed decisions as well. So we also then have different business units within The Economist that are, I guess, are bolstered by or are kind of supported by our journalism. So we also have Economist Impact. So that is essentially it's got the rigor of a think tank, but it's got the creativity of a media brand as well. So we then engage our audiences through events, through policy research, through advertising, and really amplify clients' messaging out to our kind of global influential audiences through a variety of different mediums and different forms. There's also Economist Intelligence, which is a business intelligence organization. So again, another B2B arm of the business. So we are not just selling direct to consumers, we're selling to businesses as well. And the Economist Intelligence arm really helps businesses and financial institutions to make strong, decisions and to understand what's going on around them as well. So that works with, we work with a number of different clients across different industries, from universities, from big financial services firms, professional services firms, through to NGOs and to not-for-profits as well. And then in addition to that, we also have The Economist Education, which was launched in 2021, which delivers online and executive courses that draw on the knowledge of our kind of global experts and our journalists to help individuals and organizations meet their goals. So it really is a kind of an educational arm of the business. So May, I didn't know if you had any questions off the back of that, the different business units.
No, I thought that was really clear, and didn't know there were four arms of The Economist.
Yeah, so I think everyone maybe thinks of The Economist and they think of the weekly newspaper or magazine or our app, or our website, but that actually is only a proportion of our business. There's so much more that goes into it, and the B2B arm of the business is a really large side too. So there's a lot more variety, I think, kind of behind the scenes than people anticipate.
definitely. Really interesting.
Yeah, brilliant. And then how we deliver our news and our journalism is probably more varied than people might imagine as well. And then, the type of people that then we hire that go into delivering that journalism, there is a plethora of roles and skills, and attributes that we look for when we're hiring, just because of the diversity of the ways that we push our content out there. So, as I've mentioned, The Economist started as a newspaper 180 years ago. Our weekly edition is still a massive part of our product portfolio, but then we also have our app. We have our website, we have live events that we run. We have podcasts that we host, so daily podcasts, weekly podcasts, all on different topics and sort of different industries and themes. And also then we have a really large presence across social media. So disseminating that journalism across social is a really, really important way for us to, get our content out there and drive subscribers as well to the Economist website and to our app. So not sure if these figures are fully up to date, but we have more than, I think it's about 65 million people follow The Economist across X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wow, TikTok, Threads, and the number of views and engagement we get on our social posts is massive. So, and actually about 2/3 of our Instagram followers are aged 18 to 34. So, through those platforms such as Instagram, such as TikTok, that's where we are looking at engaging kind of younger audiences, and delivering our content in different guises as well. So, there's lots of people behind the scenes there that will be scheduling our content calendars for us, creating the video content, producing podcasts, editing video footage. There's a ton of creative roles, that we hire for across The Economist that, are doing really interesting and exciting work on social media and on podcasts, particularly. And linked to that, actually, we've just launched a new product offering at The Economist, and I'm hoping that this video is going to work. I'll just pull my Zoom bar out of the way, and it is The Economist Insider. So what's unique about The Economist is our, I guess, independent and non-biased factual journalism, and through that, we don't have any bylines in our reporting. So all of our articles are published, anonymously as the Economist's opinions. So our journalists aren't identifiable, in each of the articles that are posted. And what we found actually is that people, want a little bit more kind of behind the scenes exposure to the thinking that goes into how we create our publication, the thought process into what goes into our articles. So we've launched a new product called the Economist Insider, which is a video product available to all of our subscribers, which is it's essentially a video show. It's a news show which airs twice a week, and it's with our editor-in-chief and some of our senior newsroom staff, delivered twice a week, talking about global events, what's going on, sort of almost pulling the curtain back a little bit on some of those, the Economist's opinion, and as I said, the thought process that goes in. So I'm going to play this video, and I'm hoping it's going to work to give you a little bit of a sneak peek of that Economist Insider.
Step inside the debate.
Hello, welcome to the Insider.
Join the Economist's senior editors
not just
as they explore the world's most important stories on the record.
Profoundly shocking. So what do you think is likely to happen?
Tune in to Smart Conversations.
What does the future of war look like?
Twice a week.
I totally agree with you. I'd probably try and move towards market-based mechanisms.
As our editors break down the issues that matter.
The physical ability of humans to perceive things. Debate over migration.
Democrats ought to be well set for winning the majority.
From power and conflict.
I have sat around that table at NATO and I
to innovation and progress.
AI development either stops or the world gets quite weird.
Be in the room where it happens, wherever you are. The Economist Insider. Know it inside out.
So that's just a little sneak peek of the type of content that we're producing and that weekly show that we are now running. And again, that has been kind of driven by the way people consume media, and the way people get their news. A lot of people spend a lot of time on their phones. We are now used to viewing video content perhaps more than we spend time reading through articles, and the Insider has been created to kind of address some of that shift in the way that people consume their news. So it's a really interesting product. It's taken a whole team of people to come together to deliver that from across the newsroom, from across our technology teams, our data teams, our product teams, through to our marketing teams. And it's been a real collective effort across The Economist to push that out. And, we've had, as I said, I've mentioned in terms of those creative roles that have gone into, standing that product up. We've got videographers, we've got editors, we've got, people then that are chopping the social clips and pushing them out, across our various platforms. So it's a really, really interesting, really interesting offering. And then the types of roles that we recruit for. So I think this is one of the things that we often find that as a news organization, people who want to work in journalism, will come to The Economist and say, oh, I want to be a business journalist. What reporter roles or editor roles have you got? And of course, we have those, but we're an organization of around 1,600 people. And the newsroom makes up about a quarter of that. And there are such a large variety of other opportunities and other career paths that you could explore at a brand like The Economist. So obviously, I mentioned earlier, we host all of our content on our app and our website. So we have a really large technology and data and product team, who create the platforms and the technology so that we can deliver our journalism to a global audience, and we can deliver that fast, and we can personalize that content. We can look at user journeys on the app, so there's all different types of roles there. We then have large commercial teams as well that if you are an Economist subscriber, we will have teams looking at pricing, the packages, how do we onboard customers onto the app, how do we sign up corporate clients, for example, for a group subscription to theeconomist.com, or if we are working with a client in Economist Impact and they want to put on a big event, how are we pricing that event, how are we getting delegates to come to that event, and then the creative roles, as I mentioned, video editors, social media marketers, like all different types of creative roles too. And then we also have our, I guess, what we would call kind of group and corporate function type roles. So the teams that support the business. So our finance team. So, they're looking at obviously our revenue. We're accounting for, the money that's coming in from clients. We're forecasting. They're balancing the books essentially in the finance department. And then we have our legal team, our facilities team. We also have human resources team, our people team that I would be a part of, and then obviously our core kind of editorial and newsroom team, but then also the teams that would run all of the kind of business intelligence and research and events. So we would have analysts, we would have economists, we would have consulting individuals, we would have data scientists, we would have event managers, event marketers, we'd have conference producers. I think the variety of roles that you could explore in a brand, in a media brand like The Economist is much broader than people might imagine when they think of us. And then what we look for when we're hiring. So when we are going to market, and particularly for our kind of more junior entry level roles, we're not expecting people to come with a ton of work experience, of course, if you're at the beginning of your career. So we really do, interview against our values. And those are excellence, integrity, openness, independence, and inclusivity as well. So when you're thinking about crafting an application to a brand like The Economist, or it could be any different type of brand, check out their careers site, check out their corporate site, and often it will outline their values and what they stand for as an organization. I think if there are things that you can put into then your CV or your cover letter that can demonstrate that how you live those values in your day-to-day life, or in your professional career that you've had so far, and that will really make your application stand out as well. So we're obviously a news and media organization, so if you do blogging in your spare time, if you run your own social account, we love to see all of those different types of things. If you've been a speaker at your school, or part of your kind of pupil parliament, or a debating society at university, all of that sort of stuff is really good to put in your CV and put on your cover letter to support your application as well.
I was going to say that's a really good hack, Cherry, about looking at a company's values on their website and how you can incorporate that in your application process, because that is a good trick, I think.
Yeah, it is often the case, and because a CV at the early stages of your career really doesn't tell an awful lot at all, apart from obviously your education. So what you can talk about, what you've done personally, or what you can include what you've done personally in that's what will bolster your bolster your application and make it stand out. And if you can link that back to something that is really kind of identifiable to the brand that you're applying for, so particularly one of its values or something that it stands for, it shows that you've gone off and you've done the research, and that you are genuinely engaged in working for that organization, versus just wanting a job. And that's absolutely fine. Of course, we all need a job, and we all will apply for multiple things, particularly at the beginning of our career when we're exploring, what areas we want to get into. But I think, just personalizing your application a little bit to the company that you're applying for really does go a long way. And then here's just some points as well about what we look for kind of when we're hiring. So for us, intellectual curiosity and critical thinking is, a really, really core part of our business. We question what's going on in the world. We think about the events that are happening around us, and we disseminate that, and we provide an opinion on it, and we put that out there. So even if you're not applying for a journalism role at The Economist, that type of thinking is really, really important as well. So a genuine interest in global affairs, economics, politics, business and social issues, demonstrating the ability to think critically, analyze information, and really showing a curiosity as well, just about how ideas can shape the world, and where things could be going, and if it's a particular topic or subject that you're interested in, what you think the progression or the development could be of that over the next 5 to 10 years. So yeah, I guess curiosity about how ideas shape the world. So not just consuming news, but understanding why things happen, thinking about the why as well. And I think what else is important to us then is really strong communication skills. So The Economist prides itself on its editorial style and tone, and we have a really clear, concise, sort of written communication style within the paper and within all of our content. So the ability to articulate complex ideas simply and persuasively, the awareness of your tone and your structure. As I said, The Economist's editorial and analytical style is really well known, and quite unique. And then for non-editorial roles, I guess the ability to kind of translate data or insights into sort of compelling ideas, and into an understandable format as well. And then we are a global organization, so that global mindset and kind of cultural awareness is really important to us as well. So appreciation for different perspectives, you know, and the ability to work effectively across cultures. So for a geographically dispersed organization, you know, you might be based in our London office, but you might be working with colleagues within our India operation, you know, or in the US or in Hong Kong. So, you know, finding kind of, you know, the balance of working with different types of individuals, and you know, an interest then in kind of how global trends you know, are affecting markets and industries and societies, because we're a global organization, and you know, we're kind of affected by global trends and global shifts as well. And then another big one for us, analytical and data literacy. So, you know, the confidence kind of working with data. So that's taking, you know, big groups of information and being able to distill it down into kind of key findings and, you know, something actionable, you know, or something valuable to a reader or to a client, is really, really important. And, you know, that ability to interpret information, draw insights, and then make evidence-based recommendations, as well. And this is obviously linked to our values, the next point, but the integrity, independence, and intellectual honesty. So a respect for truth, accuracy, objectivity, and those are the values that obviously underpin the Economist's reputation and our journalism, and kind of the courage to challenge assumptions and contribute to original thinking. So I think that's, you know, why people often come to us for our news and our reporting, because, you know, there is an economist kind of opinion, you know, behind it, and we do challenge assumptions and we do hold power to account, and, you know, we will report on the world the way that we see it. And I think someone, you know, being able to kind of have those convictions and, you know, have those opinions themselves is really, really important. And the next point is around adaptability and kind of digital savviness. You know, we are living in an online world. We may have started as a newspaper 180 years ago, and, you know, still have a newspaper today, but an awareness of kind of how technology and digital transformation is sort of changing media and the way that, you know, audiences engage with news and content, you know, and understanding the trends sort of in those areas. And then linked to that, like a willingness to learn new tools and adapt to evolving technologies and sort of think creatively about innovation. So, you know, 5 years ago, we wouldn't have had a TikTok account and we wouldn't have been delivering our journalism and our content via TikTok, but now it is a huge platform for us and we get millions and millions of views, you know, and it drives traffic direct to our website. So, you know, we have to continue to evolve, we have to continue to innovate to stay relevant, you know, and keep up with trends kind of in the market. And then number 7, another thing that we look for, collaboration, team orientation. So we're a 1,600 person organization, so we're not massive, but we're not tiny. So the ability to work in agile teams, you know, with people from across different departments, you know, based in different offices. So really to kind of be able to collaborate and contribute positively to sort of group assignments, as well. And then I think for us, in terms of the people that do well at The Economist, is sort of a balance of kind of confidence and humility. So comfortable sharing ideas, but equally open to other people's ideas, as well. And then I linked to this one, obviously in my previous slide about, you know, when you're applying to an organization like The Economist, but, you know, having the motivation and alignment with The Economist's group's mission and vision and values. So, you know, a reason why, you know, you would want to work for an organization like ours. So, you know, a clear sense of purpose and kind of a connection to The Economist's mission, which is obviously to drive progress through independent analysis and informed debate. So, you know, candidates then that want to make an impact, whether that's intellectually, commercially, you know, or socially, you know, they tend to do really well at The Economist. So I guess in essence, you know, we we look for people that are curious, that question what's going on in the world, that want to help drive debate forward, that are on top of the latest trends, staying ahead of shifts in the market, shifts in technology, and can come and kind of talk about some of those things, if they were kind of to enter an interview process with us. And I think that was everything. Yes.
Oh, amazing, Cherry. Thank you so much. So that was a real insight and in-depth, I think, understanding of The Economist. Because like you said, I think people just see it as maybe a magazine or might not think it's creative. And like you said, there's so many different media channels, and it's so interesting, that you can see the development of media and how, like you said, social media is such a huge part of it now. So I think that next generation have that advantage of
absolutely
understanding those platforms.
Yeah, and I think it's a really nice balance that when you join an organization like ours, you're coming into somewhere that is established, has a lot of history, has a lot of heritage to the brand, and a strong reputation, but it also, there's an awful lot of innovation going on across the organization. So we are definitely not standing still. We are continuing to evolve. We're continuing to, go on that kind of digital transformation journey and be an online first organization.
Definitely. And then finally, because we're running out of time, but do you how could someone, if they're really interested now in The Economist and working for you guys, what are the different entry level opportunities?
Yeah, good question. So we don't have kind of a formal annual intake of sort of entry level roles. We recruit throughout the year. So all of our vacancies are posted on our careers site. So the Economist Group careers.com, and we recruit junior roles across sales, marketing, creative, events, technology, data. It's just a case of kind of checking in on our careers site on a regular basis.
Amazing. Okay, well, I'll put that in the chat so people have that. But yes, thank you so much, Cherry. Really, really great to have you, and really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Wonderful.